Welcome to the Q&A of week 2. There are some personal questions that I love to answer now or give some feedback on. One question is, when I look at my playground, it seems all equally important. It seems I cannot really say like this is more important or this is less important of what I put on my playground. Of course, there are some things that are you can ask yourself here. Yeah. So, um, are these new things that you have put? Yeah. Or is it as it is now? I mean, we don't give time to all equally. Yeah. So the first thing is, of course, like to what do we give the most time and why do we do that? Yeah. When we have our work, for example, and we spend a lot of time on our workplace, yeah, then it is of importance because we spend perhaps 8 hours plus or less, yeah, on our work. Yeah. So it's also the time aspect to how much time is something taking from you. Yeah. So when you have aspects you give little time practically, then you also can say it is less important to you when you practically give less time to it. Yeah. So the things that we don't do, there is a difference between the things that we want to do or we think we should do, in our mind, yeah, or the things that we do. The practical things, as we do them, give a lot of information how we inside of ourselves have what kind of meaning and importance we give to it. Our system is always based on the most important thing. Yeah, we give the most attention and often also the time. Attention can also be in thinking, something you think a lot about but you don't give action to it. Yeah, that is also possible. So how much time are you busy with it? Yeah, really doing it or not practically but just theoretically? Yeah, how much are you busy with it? It's possible that you perhaps have I want to eat healthy, and the whole day you're busy with food. You think about food and how and this and that, and should I eat, should I not eat? Yeah. But practically you don't cook well, you don't spend really time on it. Yeah. So the measure is here like how much is it on your mind, and then it shows you how important it is to you. Then we know that every behavior and everything we do has a value that is related to it. So to see and to make a conscious choice about your playground, it is also important not just to look, yeah, into the what do I see in my playground, how does it manifest, but also what kind of values does it satisfy. Yeah, perhaps you are spending a lot of time in your work that you don't like. Yeah, possibly it's just an example. Yeah. But it gives you security, and security is a very important value that you might have. Yeah, perhaps also consistency, or that you stability, yeah, an important aspect. Yeah, so why are you what is a deeper motivation, yeah, for you to feel an importance? Yeah. So when you then have your playground, you can put the values, yeah, the main values. One thing in the playground work might not only have one value it stands for, yeah, but when you sense inside of yourself, it might have one or two values that are very important to you in that aspect. Yeah. And then you write them towards it. And then you write all those values on a row, all the values, and then you look at them and sense like how important are those values to me, and then differentiate between the value like your mind and your feeling. How much time do you really and attention do you give to it? Perhaps you really want to feel more lightly in things, and more confident. Well, who knows? Yeah. But so this is something that you might want, yeah, and you say like playing with the children or being out with friends, that gives me lightness and fun. Yeah. But when you look at the whole list and you see all those values on a row, then you say like fun is the least important. So don't find it strange that you don't give the attention to it, even if your mind says it's very important. So you have a look into it, like what are the values, yeah? And when you then look at your playground and you say like, um, you become aware. It's looking at your playground and become aware how it is, yeah, and perhaps your motivations on why it is as it is, to make space for that without necessarily having to change things, yeah. But if you say like, oh, I want to live healthy, I want to improve my finances, I want to be more out with my friends, I want to spend more time with my children, and then you have already like 4 or 5 major things that you want to change. It's just like you that you want to add, really to interact with in your playground, yeah. Then it's difficult to make all those choices at once, yeah. So important, when you want to make a, give more attention to something, less attention to something, add something, do away with something, take one thing for a week is enough. Yeah, when we overload ourselves, yeah, then probably you won't do anything. Yeah, so you won't do anything, and that when you feel that it has to be done all, and or you cannot make a choice, which one should I then choose? In this case, all is equally important. Yeah, then do also the reality check, like when you see the values and to what it stands, what kind of value is now very important, yeah, and to what do I really want to um, attend to at this moment, yeah, because perhaps finances are very important and it gives a lot of freedom towards the rest, it's possible, yeah. But perhaps also when you have more lightness, when you look at it, when there would be more lightness, perhaps you would benefit greatly on the financial part. Perhaps you would be more easygoing in your work. Yeah, then you might decide to bring more attention to the lightness. So conscious choice and the values do help us in that. Another question was, what is actually the observer? When do I really in the mode of the observer? When is it like that? And I thought that was a very good question, because also the observer is not something which is um, just to be experienced on one level, yeah. But the observer, I always say like, you can the observer always observes what's happening, yeah. Perhaps at this moment, you observe, yeah, your behavior and you're judgmental about it, yeah, and you say, how can you do that like that, and again you did it like this, and so on, that is also an observer who observes your behavior and judges, yeah. Then you go one step and you watch that one, yeah. You watch the observer judging you, and then this is the observer, one step further. So the observer sees how you judge your behavior. Yeah. And then you see, like, oh, okay, see, this is it. I'm judging my behavior. And you might want to choose, yeah, to um, explore that observer, to see his motivation, yeah, to get in contact with him. But we will do even more than that. You don't have to do that, but in case you want that, you can do that already if you have the tools for that. Then the new observer, observes the one who is judging, and he might say, it's not good to judge. You should be kind and nice, making space, yeah, for the observer, yeah. So this is also someone who is correcting you, yeah. He does not make space that it is not okay to judge. Then you make again a step. I observe myself, yeah, how I correct, yeah, the judging person, yeah. So then this is the observer, and then this observer sees it happening, yeah, and he can give the space for all of that. He can investigate also the one who feels that you shouldn't judge, yeah. And how is that, Yeah, well, how is it so important for you that you don't judge? Yeah, so there you can do that. The observer, in a way, yeah, where he is neutral, does not mean that he doesn't do anything. Yeah, and it is also, you can always compare it like with when it's a child, you know, that you are seeing something is happening. Yeah, and there it is much easier to be making space for what is there without, and here is the definition of an observer, not being identified with it. Yeah, so the observer is not connected to an inner part of you. The observer is there and sees what is happening, and it has compassion for the one who thinks that it is bad to judge, yeah, and the one who is judging the behavior, and the one who is acting like ABCD, yeah, and he just observes, and he says yes, and I see you, and do I understand you. The observer has no identification, but just wants to understand, wants to be there, you know, like a mother wants to be there for his child, yeah, and the child might be very disturbed, 5 years old, has a big fight with the best friend, and it's very, very sad and very angry, yeah. Then you also don't say, you know, this is just goes by. It's not such a big deal, you know. It's not that you do that, yeah. Hopefully, yeah, that you don't diminish the pain of the child, yeah. So you will comfort the child in the pain. You will say, yeah, I can see that you are very, very sad. I'm so sorry that you feel like that, and you're there to comfort the child. Yeah, but at the same time, you don't know. Yeah, you don't identify with it. You don't also cry, and you feel not the same pain as the child. Yeah, so you can perhaps be empathic. Yeah, and you and this is also why we can take it serious. Yeah, we can really be there for that child. Yeah, and see like, okay, what is now the deepest pain here for you, when you want to understand the child further, you know, and tell me about it. Yeah, and perhaps you also ask like, what can I do to make it easier for you now? Yeah, so that it is perhaps less, if possible, but only after, you know, after you have listened, after you have understood what exactly is actually there, and how was it so painful that the friend did ABCD, what pain was touched. Yeah, and this kind of questions, as you would do it with a real person, you can also ask yourself. Yeah, without having now that the child has to go and apologize, and the child has to do this, and why do you now do this, and so on and so on. And this you do with every positioning of observing, yeah, till you find the observer who is not connected, meaning not identified, yeah, with the situation, has a personal interest why it does what it does. Yeah, the observer does not have any personal interest otherwise, yeah, than to be there for you and to understand you. Yeah, to understand you, to make space. And if you don't want to talk, then I'm also there. When you don't want to share what is really motivating you, and when you don't trust me and you want to do it by yourself, then this is also okay. Yeah, that is the observer. Yeah, so if you, when you make that finding the observer, finding that space, yeah, then see how far you come. Yeah, and it is also not a must. You can also just do directly, you know, when you see the observer and who says like, oh, you shouldn't observe, you should be kind, you should be like this, yeah, the corrective one, then you might decide just to find out what is the judger here wanting, you know, and just to understand, not to correct, not to give tips, not to tell him how he should do it, not to heal, not to whatever. Yeah, just to get to know. And this is finally to get to know yourself and to be there for yourself, making space for all that is in you. Yeah, so that is about the observer. So we have many observers. So every one of the range that I just shared is an observer. Yeah, but to find the observer who gives space, yeah, is the one who is just there and who is not identified, who is not part of your emotional body, is not part of the afraid body. That's the observer, finally. But all of the other ones are also observers. Yeah, but the one who wants to truly only understand, yeah, that is the observer we are talking about here in this course. Yeah, another question was also about the playground. Um, Indirectly, it had to do first with having illnesses, taking the topic that comes to your attention, draws your attention this week. Yeah, so be always a bit alert on that which comes in your mind, which draws your attention, and you might want to use this as a topic for this Monday question or the Wednesday one. And here it was also first about some illness, and the person was already a bit busy with it and says, yeah, because I'm not really doing what I feel that is something missing, and I'm not really doing what I want to do, and so therefore I'm taking myself out and I'm not doing anything. Yeah, so that was how the person has experienced it. And so what came out of it was, yeah, that it is about performing, about achieving, and the person felt strongly that she wanted to achieve something, but she was not really in awareness in it. Yeah, so yes, when it was said, yeah, then she said, yes, it's I want to do something useful. I want to do something, with my life which matters, to create, to do something of value. Yeah, and it's an intrinsic desire, not just in the Nurx approach, that in one of the developmental stages, it's actually the 11th one. Yeah, as an adult, and we have it as an earlier stages also, like the 7th and one of the in the second one as well. Yeah, so that we want to bring ourselves out, but with different kind of motivations. And the motivation is here in the desire to achieve, to create, to do something. Yeah, and what is here and what I see more is when you do some years of development work, and you're aware, then the old motivations, the dopamine and adrenaline you remember perhaps from level 1, they're not working anymore so well. You don't want to run and to rush. You feel that you do it, but it also comes into, no, I don't want that anymore. I don't want to go there. I have been there already, and I don't want to push myself, in order to achieve. But the desire is an intrinsic one, that we want to contribute. But the how, our mind, yeah, how we contribute, often we are not able to really think about it, how it could be. Yeah, how the performance, the achievement can be implemented, because in a more developed way. Yeah, achieving in the past, it was because of the basic needs, or perhaps basic securities. Yeah, and there we went and we wanted to perform, and we wanted to perform in certain ways, or we did not want to perform because we have a big resistance to it. It's also possible. Yeah, of course you know that already. But in this case, it was a desire to perform. And the how we perform, that will not change. Yeah, that when you are a person who performs, and when he performs, likes to do it correctly and nicely. Yeah, so that will be still there. It's the how you do things. Yeah, but the energy how you do things changes, and possibly also like what you do changes when we decide to develop further our desire to performing in this case. Yeah, performing, to develop that, achieving, performing. Yeah, to have this meaningful aspect in our life. And of course it goes together with other aspects that we have. We never exist just in one piece. Yeah, it's always all aspects of us have are influenced by our choices and their act. Yeah, so in this case it was that um, the the other part, who feared to be overwhelmed, to fear to do having too much, and the one who is actually more in the level like just calm, don't to do much, and that one is already much developed. In the past it was one who wants to go against authorities, doesn't want to be pushed and so on, but also fear-based. Yeah, but this part is already much developed, and in many of you it is much more developed. Yeah, if you feel that it is still that you are more against something generally, against authorities, against having to do something generally without any reason, yeah, then it's also still underdeveloped, and you might want to integrate it into your being, into your life more, and to welcome it, like with the exercise that I repeated last week, for example. Yeah, so then it changes. Yeah, it changes. But the moment that more pressure comes in, yeah, and you desire to achieve is there, the desire to contribute, because it's our natural longing to live ourselves freely. Yeah, our natural longing to contribute towards life. Yeah, when that is further developed, here it's very important to observe which direction it wants to go, and if you want to help, to see like how, so let me say, what did I spend much time on in my life? Yeah, what was really a huge aspect of my life? Yeah, because very often that what kept us busy is also that what once then, when it is ready to go out, it wants to be part of our expression in life. Yeah, so, and in this case it was a long time of an inner process. Yeah, and it's here in this case, yeah, I can say you do want, to express yourself. Yeah, you do want to express yourself, but not necessarily by telling people like all your knowledge, like how you did this, and not how you did, how they should do this and how they should do that. Yeah, this is like more the old way of wanting to be seen for having an additional value to the other person. Yeah, but when you develop further achieving, yeah, it is also very much possible that this part in you, yeah, wants to express like how it by itself, like how it felt, how it feels, the experience you had in your own life, and perhaps then want to add how you dealt with it. Yeah, but to truly to see like what is possible for you, then to observe, when you develop further achievement, and to be very open that the how might not be as usual. Yeah, we call performance and achievement. Yeah, it might be very different. And in the small exchange that I had for this topic, yeah, um, it was really to be to share yourself, your inner world, your process, what was painful for you, and how it was. Yeah, because this is what kept this person busy for a long time, and to share that one. Yeah, because wanting to connect was also one of the things that was important here. And to live in connection and to have joy. Yeah, and that means also like when we share that we are, yes, we are taking it seriously, but we are not identified with it. We can also still be there in the level of the observer without, yeah, and that's very important, without having to mentalize everything, because this is a big risk, yeah, that we are not in our feelings, we are not with this inner part of us that wants our attention or needs our loving care. Yeah, but that we are mentalizing it, yeah, and only understanding it, and then we leave ourselves still behind. I hope that is not too confusing. Might be a little bit. Yeah, but feel free to ask some questions about it on Wednesday if that is something that is important to you at this very moment. So when you are in the situation, like this person, to um, having the desire to contribute, desire to achieve something, to do something, but the how is not as it is visible to you. There is nothing that really kind of makes your heart sing, yeah, and enthusiastic. Then just look what comes naturally. what is naturally what you do. That is also wants to what at a certain moment, yeah, has developed up to a level that it automatically also can come out if we give it the space.